God was probably like, Chris, haven't you figured this out yet? I don't question that God put those men in my life for his purpose. I think discipline gets a bad rap. Discipline is freedom.
How much did it cost to build your first plane?
Experimental aviation is a lot more reasonable. So when you're the passenger and you're sitting in the plane and there's that sticker right in front of you that says experimental, it's going to give you that nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. There's no more important decision you as a man are going to make than the woman that you marry.
What could you tell someone who's in that place to have a great relationship?
Get your relationship right with God. And life is tough. But quite frankly, it's tougher when you're stupid. Don't be stupid.
So I had a conversation with Joel.
I smell an ambush.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on the So What's the Point podcast. So glad that you could take some time out of your day, come on set, and just have a conversation with us. I'd like to just start off by getting a little bit of your background, kind of where you grew up in that environment that you grew up in, just to kind of understand how you got to where you are today.
In this chair, how I got, believe me, I'm asking myself that same question right now. I grew up in Rhode Island.
Okay.
Which means I'm not a Mainer.
Yep.
Never will be. Oh, well. Joined the Marines when I was 17
Mm-hmm.
and then spent the next 35 years or so in various services.
Mm-hmm.
Retired to Maine.
Mm.
So found Moss Brook, and that's how I got here.
So for your beginning years, so I would say from when you're born to like early teen years, what did that look like for you? Did you always stay in Rhode Island when you were growing up?
Yeah. So, my father had been in the Marines.
Okay. Yep.
But then he'd gotten out, he was in the reserves. And, so he went, he would travel.
Yep.
But the family stayed in Rhode Island, and it was a pretty rural part of Rhode Island then. When you're a little kid, you want to be, you ask a little kid, I want to be a policeman.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a fireman, I want to be a doctor. I wanted to be a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
That was, some people might say, well, that says something about your psyche. But that's, and so when I got the chance, that's what I did.
Mm. What were your parents like?
Well, my father was a Marine colonel.
Mm.
That probably answers that question.
Yep.
And my mother was very authoritarian as well. Good parents.
Mm.
It's so easy today for people to, my parents did this, my parents did that,
yeah.
and that's a crock of what. My mom and dad loved me, did the best for me, gave me every opportunity, and what I did with that opportunity, hey, that's on me. I will say this, my dad taught me how to plan.
Mm.
I came up with some pretty stupid things when I was a little kid, and he was like, well, what's your plan?
Mm.
And if I had one, or I could come up with one,
yeah,
he let me do some pretty stupid things. And which, quite frankly, probably set me on the path that I subsequently took.
I like to ask this question. When was your first time going to church or going to a church?
Actually, I grew up in the Episcopal Church.
Okay.
I was a little kid wearing one of those little red robes, singing in the choir.
Yeah.
Was an altar boy, usher, all that stuff growing up. But, it was just it's what we did on Sundays.
Mm.
Wasn't really, quite frankly, it had no more real meaning than playing on the soccer team.
Mm.
That's what I did on that day. So it was a thing that you did. It wasn't a life that you lived.
Mm.
The realest part about that, in the summer, I would go to this, the Episcopal Conference Center.
Okay.
Which is in Pascagoula, Rhode Island. It was a camp.
Yeah.
But that was fun. I enjoyed that. And it was a work camp. You went to Went to church first thing in the morning.
Yep.
Then you went out in the woods, worked. It was kind of a logging camp.
Okay.
And then, games and stuff in the afternoon, in the evening, and then a Compline service at night. And that's where it started to get real, a little more real. Unfortunately, I think at that point, it was kind of like, it was like me and God. It's like we're allies. He's my friend, but I hadn't come to a point where he was my savior. That didn't come till much later. But
yeah, what age would have that been going to that camp?
I was in my teens, early teens.
Early teens.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably 12 to 16. And then, like I said, when I was 17, I graduated high school and went to a different summer camp.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, definitely gonna touch on that. Were your parents firm believers?
No,
I
don't think so. I mean, they had their beliefs.
Yep.
That's a difficult subject for me. My mom died just a couple of 2 years ago, and that was a lesson in how not to do things, to be perfectly honest with you. But I was able to get down to see her. They had subsequently moved down to Virginia. So I'm sitting with my mom, and I had previously talked to one of my buddies who I'd served in the Marines with, and he subsequently became a pastor. Great man. And he was, so he kind of gave me some talking points.
Yep.
And I was like, "Hey, Mom, you ready to meet God?" Because she was very, very, very proud. And her response to that was, "Well, I think the question is he ready to meet me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think you got to worry about that."
Yeah. So from 17 joining the Marines, what did you, after basic training, what were you training for after you went through that first period?
So they sent me to they just decided to send me to the Virginia Military Institute.
Okay.
And so I spent 4 years there.
Yep.
Classes 6 days a week. No civilian clothes. At the time, a prison would have been better living conditions. And then in the summer, jump school and different stuff. And but anyway, commissioned as an officer, infantry, and I was living a dream at that point. That's what I wanted to do. And that's really where that kind of me and God, we're allies, because I'm one of the good guys.
Yeah.
And I look back at that, and the arrogance of that just is shameful. But that's also where God put some, quite frankly, divine appointments in my life. And perspective is 2020, especially when you're looking back. But there were two men that he put in my life that I am very grateful for.
I was going to ask you if there was any mentors along that journey that really stood out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of mentors. But probably the two best were Dave Temples and Keith Oakes, both Marines, rock solid Christians, rock solid Marines. I mean, there was no differentiating between those two sides of their personality. Like, once being a Christian made them a better Marine, and being a Marine made them a better Christian. It was just, it was so awesome to watch that. If I was half the man that they are, I'd be twice the man I am today. you know, I'll let you do the math on that one.
Yeah.
But Dave, and it was really rare because Dave and I went through officer candidate school together, the basic school together, infantry officer course. We were in the same infantry company. We both went to Force Recon together. To be serving with the same guy for that long, that's divine intervention right there. I think, God was probably like, Chris, haven't you figured this out yet? You idiot. And Keith Oakes, again, same. Keith eventually went on to serve at, quite frankly, the highest levels of the U.S. military. And I mentioned that name at one point. I was talking with Joel Chapman.
Yep.
And we were just kind of just shooting the breeze. And I was like, yeah, if Keith Oakes ever called me, I was like, dude, I'd be there, right? He was like, Keith? And, he had crossed paths with Keith yeah. But again, these are, I don't question that God put those men in my life, for his purpose, for any reason at all. But
yeah. How did discipline, brotherhood, and sacrifice shape your identity?
when you're going through difficult times with people, you love them. You develop bonds that you don't develop anywhere else. You hear people when they talk about, like, if their combat experience or whatever, you don't fight for your country. You don't fight for your values. You don't fight for patriotism. I mean, that all sounds good. But be honest with you, when you're cold, wet, and miserable, patriotism gets a little old. You fight for the guy next to you. Especially if he's fighting for you. And discipline and brotherhood, all that. I mean, those are names, quite frankly, for love. It's a synonym. It talks about, I think, with David and Jonathan.
Yep.
In the Old Testament, and David says that his love for Jonathan, talks about how important it was, and that's the truth. I think discipline gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
Discipline is freedom. You want to be free? Get some discipline in your life. It's not motivation.
Yeah. Because
that gets old. That wears out. But habits don't. And especially good habits. Good habits will carry you through the times that emotion will not. And if those habits are also, quite frankly, grounded in Scripture and in your walk with the Lord, giddy up.
Community is something that's talked about quite a lot nowadays, simply because we're just so separated. I mean, we have this phone that has literally everything on it. From your view, because you were part of such a big community, how important is not just a community to be a part of, but a good community to be a part of?
You mentioned, the phone.
Yeah.
What a blessing, potentially.
Yes.
We have at our fingertips,
yeah,
quite frankly, probably 95% of all the knowledge that the world has ever had. Very little can we not access immediately on that phone. You can get in touch with just about anybody at any time in the day or night. And not just voice comms, but video. And yet we are still, I think, so disconnected. 22 veterans commit suicide every day. I mean, seriously, every day. Our suicides have exceeded our combat casualties from both Iraq and Afghanistan combined. And these are guys that have been part of a community that was very, very important. And then all of a sudden, you're not in that community anymore. And I think that's the danger. What are you basing your identity on? Who are you? And if who I am is what I do, that's going to lead to failure. Because eventually, you're not going to do that anymore. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah.
The phone's not going to ring one of these days. They're not. Nobody called me to go down to Venezuela. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm old and I'm broke and go away, Chris. So now what? Who are you? And if your identity is based solely on what you do or what you did, you're going to have a problem. And I think that's why, quite frankly, there's so many guys checking out. I think the answer, who you are in Christ, you bring that to what you do, giddy up. It's going to go well. But if you don't, if you never learn who you are in Christ, you're never going to know who you are. You're going to let the world answer that question for you.
To somebody who might be listening to this or watching this, who's just coming out of the service, what is one thing you could say to them? Finally, maybe go to a church for the first time, or maybe pick up a Bible for the first time.
The only thing I pray for some individuals that I know personally, is that God will bring somebody like a Keith Oakes or a Dave Temples alongside. And quite frankly, it's real. It's like, dude, the brotherhood that you felt in the service, you don't question the reality of that. Don't question the reality of God Almighty. It's more real. And quite frankly, if it wasn't, I'd tell you. But it is.
Is that something that you strive for, to kind of be like a Keith Oakes, as you were mentioning?
Oh, my goodness.
For others?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Keith in several years. I saw Dave Temples last year. He actually came to this church.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was awesome. He and his family came up to visit, and so we came here to Moss Brook, and he liked it. He was impressed. These are guys you judge yourself by. I'm sure there are people in your life that, you're like, I want to be like that guy. Dave he's one of those. That's the guy I want to be like.
Now you mentioned Mossbrook Church, which we're sitting in currently. When was the first time you came to Mossbrook, and how did you find out about Mossbrook Church?
How did I? Yeah. How did you get here so we can close that door? So after I retired, my wife and I were in Bridgeton.
Okay.
And we were there for several years, and we didn't connect with anything there. And I was looking, but Oxford is like on the other side of the planet. Why would I ever come over here?
Yeah, that's true.
Long story short, took a couple of welding classes at New England School of Metalworking, just for something to do.
Yeah.
And so obviously I needed a place to buy some steel, so I went to Western Maine Steel, which is right here on 26.
Yeah.
Bought scrap steel there. Take it home, turn it into more scrap steel, because my welding was awful. They had a plasma table there, CNC plasma table, and nobody was running it. So I told I was talking with the owner as I was buying scrap steel. I was like, hey, who's running your table? I got nobody. I'm like, well, shoot, I'll run it.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, my beard at that point was even longer than this. My wife says I look homeless. And there's probably some truth to that, but he's looking at me like, you are out of your mind. And he goes, have you ever run a table? And I was like, no. And he goes, do you know how to run a table?
Yeah.
No. No, that's my fact. That's the first one I've ever seen. And he goes, well, why should I hire you to run my table? And I was like, well, I didn't ask you to hire me.
Yep.
I said, let me just come in and I'll run it. If I figure it out, we'll talk about a paycheck. And if I can't, well, then tell me to go away.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks later, I was on the payroll. I mean, the third grade was the toughest 4 years of my life, but I got through it. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I'm working there.
Yep.
And Joel Chapman comes in.
Okay.
You know, you look at Joel,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell. You know. He's got the one eyebrow, dragging his knuckles on the ground. It's like, you and me, we've chewed some of the same dirt.
Yeah.
And literally, I followed him outside.
Wow.
He bought some steel. I followed him out to his truck. And I was like, hey, man, what's your pedigree?
Yeah.
You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
Yeah.
And so we started talking, and eventually he mentioned Mossbrook. He goes, well, you should come check it out. And, you know, quite frankly, the fact that he stepped out of his comfort zone to tell me about this church meant I got to step into mine. So I'm very grateful for that. But don't tell him that. So that's how we got here.
Wow. How long has it been that you've been coming?
A couple of years now.
Yeah.
I got here, I guess we got here in the spring, summer, right before the hurricane.
Okay.
You know, down in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Because we went and you know, we took a bunch of stuff from the church down to support that effort. Yeah, 2 years, somewhere in there. And very grateful for it. And you know, the first time I came here, I was like, this is the place. No doubt.
And you just knew.
I knew.
Wow.
Didn't question it for a second. I mean, never been to a church really with two pastors.
Yeah.
But the sermons are just plain rock solid. You get fed. And we hadn't had that. Like I said, we hadn't had that in several years. Looking for a church, and it got to a point where it's like there's just not one around here. And so when all of a sudden you come out of the desert to an oasis, you know it.
That's a good description.
And honestly, this is an oasis. If you've never known anything else, you may not appreciate it. I appreciate it. I think the first time I met your dad, Tim, he's got his little work belt on and he's doing it something, and I'm thinking to myself, you're the pastor? Dude, what are you doing? Pastors don't do that. And then you know, and then I saw Mike, and actually when we were unboxing a bunch of stuff to take down to North Carolina. So, you know, a bunch of Amazon boxes, stuff comes in, and it's all taped up, and so he pulls out his pocket knife, one hand, flips it open, cuts into that box with practiced efficiency, closes the knife, puts it in his pocket, and I'm like, all right, I got that. I saw that. That's impressive. You're not your average pastor here. It's going to sound sexist, but they're men.
Yeah.
Those are the guys I want to hang around. Those are the guys those are the people that I want to do life with.
I have something I'll dive into here in a minute. But before that, you mentioned North Carolina. So actually, if I could have you just talk a little bit about what happened and then what you ended up doing to help out there, just for kind of an overview to people who might not know.
There was a obviously terrible hurricane.
Yeah.
Blew through. and destroyed large parts of western North Carolina. Um, the largely through landslides.
Mm-hmm.
The rain soaked the ground. It's all mountainous there, and literally just whole sides of mountains came down, took out houses, roads, towns.
Yeah.
And I got a buddy of mine there who I built an airplane with, and he's in western North Carolina. So every October he does a big fly-in. So I was planning on going down for that.
Yeah.
And he actually was running a relief center at his land. He's got a grass field set up.
Yep.
So people were bringing supplies to his place, and then people with bush planes and helicopters would fly in there and then take off and go deliver supplies to places that you just couldn't access otherwise. He called it the Hillbilly Hangar. And if you knew Billy, you'd know why it was called the Hillbilly Hangar. Mentioned that to Joel, and Joel's like, well, dude, we should go down and we should take a bunch of stuff down and let's do the, next thing I knew, Joel's got we're on the radio and and the trailer's full and there's no room for my airplane. And I'm like, well, this is great. And so anyway, we drive down to North Carolina with the trailer full of supplies that the church had donated, along with some other churches in the area. And we linked up with a guy in Spruce Pine who was running basically he was running a special forces base on his property. It was all veterans.
Wow.
It was Vet Corps was the name of the group. And so basically we got there and there was a meeting in the morning, tasks were assigned, groups would go out into the community and deal with various problems.
Yeah.
What our group did, thanks to Joel's expertise, was we took trees down that otherwise would be very difficult to take down. So anyway, we did that. You come back, we slept there, they fed us, and then you go out the next day, do it again. So that was a real good opportunity to be part of that.
How long was that?
We were there for a week, and a week barely scratched the surface. And honestly, some places are still not rebuilt. That was how that went down.
Now I have an interesting question because you keep mentioning it about your plane. When did you start flying?
1987.
Okay.
When were you born?
06.
06. Yeah. So this is like just after the Wright brothers. All right. I was back from deployment. Wasn't married, yet at that point, and needed something to do. So I started getting my private pilot's license.
Yep.
And so I got my license and flew for about 100 and something hours, 125 hours. And then life gets in the way. And quite frankly, I didn't fly again for years.
Okay.
Later on in life, I left the Marine Corps, was with the Bureau, and had really done just about everything I really wanted to do with the Bureau, but there was an opportunity to do surveillance flights with them. So I got back into flying, and then the Bureau, got me my instrument and commercial and all that stuff. And so then when I finally left the Bureau, I was like, well, I kind of miss that. Maybe I'll build an airplane. And so I built an airplane. And it's not rocket science, man. You pull back on the stick, the houses get small. What can possibly go wrong?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, and I know from just briefly talking, I talked with Mike Morin, who's flown a little bit as well. How much were you able to build? How much did it cost to build your first plane? Because I know it's gone up a lot just from talking to him.
It's so, I mean, I liked how you said your first plane.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Because my wife really wants me to build a second plane.
Oh, really?
Oh, she does. Oh, I know it. I know it. I think she'd really like it for our anniversary.
Okay.
That and a tractor.
Lynn, if you're watching, new plane coming.
Yeah, she doesn't want another airplane. But really, it's a rule of thirds.
Okay.
If you're going to build it, a third for the cost of the kit,
Okay.
a third for the engine,
Yep.
and a third for the avionics
Okay.
that you're going to put in the instrument panel.
Yeah.
That's generally speaking. Aviation can be incredibly expensive, but experimental aviation is a lot more reasonable. Now it's still expensive, but it's also a lot more fun. And obviously, you got to put a sticker in it, so when you're the passenger and you're sitting in the plane and there's that sticker right in front of you that says experimental, basically designed by an amateur and built by an idiot. It's going to give you that nice, warm, fuzzy feeling, when the houses start getting small. But yeah, I love it. It's fun.
Have you built multiple planes over the years?
No.
No?
That was my first one.
Okay.
And I tell you what, the first flight.
Yep.
You talk about a range of emotions. I mean, terror, happiness, joy, fear, all rolled. It's like, oh my God, I hope I tighten that bolt right. Did that wing? Did I glue that right? And then you take off and good times. Now, and I don't want to give people the wrong idea, but it's I assembled an airplane.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know if that. It was a kit.
Yeah.
I actually had adult supervision.
Okay.
Which is very important
Yep.
in most of the things that I do.
Okay.
So I'd meet with Billy.
Okay.
In the morning, and he'd say, do A, B, and C. I would do A, B, and C. He would check it. And then I'd move on and do the next thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I moved down to North Carolina to build it.
Okay.
It was, I did 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. And I flew the plane home in 3.5 months.
Wow.
Most people will take, especially if you build it at home.
Yeah.
5 years, I think, is the average.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, it takes, so here's the thing. I didn't open up the instruction manual once because I'm doing it.
Yeah. With
Billy's built, literally, he's probably built 100 of these things.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you're building it on your own.
Yeah.
Well, now you got to figure it out. You got, people go on the internet forums and you spend more time researching something than you do doing it. Where I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's one of the reasons why the plane was as successful and I had as much fun as I did. I said, I want to go build another one, make it faster.
Yeah. Now you've mentioned Lynn a few times. Marriage is a super important thing, especially going through life. And I feel like in today's culture, people, aren't getting married as much. And even if they do, they're not really having kids. So I want to start this off just by, how long have you been married?
I should know the answer to that question. 37 years.
Okay.
Ish. I wish it was longer. How about that?
Okay.
Good save?
Yes, that's good.
Nice.
I like that. Yeah. Where and when did you guys meet?
So Lynn and I went to high school together.
Okay.
Her maiden name, Peltier.
Okay.
My last name, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in homeroom together, all our classes. They did everything back then alphabetically.
Okay. Yeah.
So she really couldn't get away from me, despite her best efforts.
Yeah.
And actually asked her to go to our senior prom.
Wow.
She said no. Can you believe it?
Wow. That
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either.
I wouldn't know.
So it took me a little while to convince her that she really needed to spend the rest of her life with me.
Yeah.
She could have just gone to the prom and been done with me, but yeah, since high school.
Wow. It's a long time.
Long time. And I always tell her, I said, if I'd known it was going to be this good, I would have married you sooner. And I will say this, there's no more important decision you as a man are going to make than the woman that you marry.
Mm.
Choose wisely.
Mm.
A lot of the things that I did, and I've done some cool stuff, but the only reason why I could do them is because I had a wife that was able to stay home and keep the home front going.
Mm.
I mean, seriously, I've had conversation with guys like, hey, how'd you do that? Man, I'm like, dude, I was able to do that because my wife did this.
Mm.
And they're like, yeah, my wife couldn't do that. And everything that I did, I was trained to do.
Mm.
I was trained by the best in the world. I had the best equipment.
Yeah.
When I was working with other people, I was working with the best in the world.
Mm.
She didn't have that luxury.
Mm.
I had my go-to-war bag by the front door.
Yeah.
It was always packed. And, I'd come home, grab the bag, honey, I got to go.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, where are you going?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. How long are you going to be gone? I don't really know.
Mm.
And I walked out.
Yeah.
And she's got to stay with the kids and there's no training for that.
Yeah.
People will say, oh, hey, thank you for your service. I want to say, shut up.
Mm.
Go thank my wife.
Mm.
Because that's why I was able to do what I did. And I know people are not, marriage is kind of fallen by, I don't know if it's fallen by the wayside or people are not doing it. I think that's recipe for disaster for this country. Good families are what make up the bedrock of this country.
Mm.
But I'll tell you what, a bad family, I mean, marrying the wrong person, yeah, that's no good either.
Mm.
But if you get your relationship with the Lord right, He'll make sure the relationship with your wife is right.
Yes, I was going to ask, what are maybe one or two things that you could tell somebody to help them get into a good relationship, especially with divorce rate with police and game wardens and military being so much higher than the rest of the population? What could you tell someone who's in that place, in those professions, to have a great relationship?
I would say, honestly, get your relationship right with God first. The Bible talks about not being unequally yoked. So it's a lot easier to have a good relationship when you start in a good relationship.
Yeah.
If you're in a bad one, that's tough.
Mm.
And I get that. I've seen that with people, but God He can heal anything if you submit to Him.
Mm.
You're not going to fix your spouse.
Yeah.
But you can fix yourself.
Mm.
So work on yourself. And don't do it alone. Do that under the auspices of the Holy Spirit. And if you and your wife have the Holy Spirit between you, I'm just not seeing a problem. And that's not to say that it's all rainbows and unicorns.
Right.
It's not. And life is tough. But quite frankly, it's tougher when you're stupid. Don't be stupid. Get it right with God and let Him do what, quite frankly, only He can do.
So I had a conversation with Joel before
Oh.
this morning. Before
I
you
hate
came-
him. Did I mention that? I hate him.
Before you came on.
You know, he sent me a text this morning.
Uh-oh.
He didn't mention the conversation. Smelling an ambush, by the way. Smell an ambush. So he sends me a text and he's like, hey, Chris, I got this brand new log splitter. It's really awesome. You should come check it out. You're going to want to buy one. And so I text him back. I'm like, dude, I am so not falling for this. You just want me to come and help you split wood. I'm like, don't give me this junk about you. Oh, I got this amazing log splitter. You'll love it. Just say, Chris, can you come over and help me split some firewood? But yeah. All right. So ambush, bring
No.
it. What do you got? What do you got for me?
First, I'm like, okay, I want just a little intel from his perspective as who Chris is, right? I know, probably the wrong wording, but
Yeah. What do you say? Crayons and Play-Doh, probably.
no, he was actually pretty good. But the first words out of his mouth were crusty old Marine, all business. Those were the first.
Those were the first words, huh?
Yeah, he went a little bit more legitimate. He said, "You subtly joke around. Insight has a heart as big as Texas." That's word for word. Loyal friend, loyal person, and I heard him quietly say, "If you are his friend." He went on for a little while, so I'll just read a few things that he said. Willing to venture out and try new things, which through this conversation I have seen to be fairly correct. And he wanted me to ask specifically his first question to you, and was how is farming going?
How is farming? I'm kind of a farmer. I don't know if you probably didn't know that.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I'm kind of a farmer.
Okay.
Kind of, in a very loose, non-farming way.
You said you went and bought a whole setup for haying
Yes.
this field.
Yes, I did.
What was this whole situation?
Attack. That's all. You attack these problems. Joel, if Joel comes to church next Sunday
Yeah.
limping, I had nothing to do with it. Okay?
Okay.
I'm just going
I'll
to
keep
just
it
throw
in
that,
mind.
just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So I bought some haying equipment. One of my neighbors where I live has these huge fields.
Okay.
And he's building a barn. It's a beautiful barn, timber
Okay.
frame,
Mhm.
amazing. And he's also putting an addition on the barn where I can keep my airplane
Okay.
because my plane, I don't need a runway. I can.
Yeah.
It's got big old tires. I can take off just about anywhere.
Mhm.
So, and I keep asking Richard. I'm like, dude, what? Come on, man. What do you want?
Yeah.
What's the rent? Let me know. I'm not
Yeah.
going to run away. Just tell me.
Yeah.
This, it'll be fine. So I'm looking for ways to, quite frankly, say thank you.
Mm.
So he's got all these fields and they don't, I know he would like to have them farmed.
Yeah.
Or hayed.
Mhm.
And so I was like, well, and he's got a tractor,
Okay.
but he didn't have any haying equipment. So I'm like, I'll buy some haying equipment and I'll hay the fields. I found Small Farm Innovation, which is a company in Texas that
Okay.
sells smaller, mini bales,
Yeah.
mini round bales. So I bought the full suite, started haying.
How's that been?
What could possibly go wrong? I have made, 300 bales of hay so far.
Wow.
I even got a wrapper so I can wrap them.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's kind of low quality hay, I think, right now.
Okay.
And the fields, they need some TLC, but I'm having a ball. I'm
That's
having
good.
fun
That's good.
because it's like I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just work.
Hmm.
Get after it.
Yeah.
So and I get to drive a tractor. How is that a bad thing?
True.
So and I guess really don't be afraid to jump into new things.
Also, he wanted me to confirm this.
Oh yeah. Senator, I don't recall. How
Yeah.
about that?
He wanted to confirm the fact that did Lynn buy you overalls to wear while you were farming?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
She did buy me a set of overalls.
He wanted me to confirm that. For some reason, he thought it was
He thought that was
important.
funny. Yeah. I may have modeled them Joel's definitely going to be limping on Sunday.
You doing crazy things. I heard you are into the polar dip last year.
Oh, well, come on, that's good for you.
Yes, I've heard many good things about it. Joel was explaining that last year you went out and you took your chainsaw and cut a square in the ice.
Yeah, it's all
Sat there for
good.
minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Do that four times a week. And honestly, if you got aches and pains,
Yep.
which I have accumulated a few over the years,
Yep.
the anti-inflammation that you get. I mean, obviously, if you sprain your ankle, you're going to put ice on it, right? Well, if you got a bunch of aches and pains, mostly due to inflammatory stuff in your, dude, jumping a,
Yeah.
all good. And makes your beard turn white too.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was all brown before I started doing it. Oh yeah, no.
How long have you been doing it?
Yeah, but it's good.
Mm.
It's good. I've tried to convince a couple other people to do that, but it doesn't seem to take.
Yeah. I don't know.
But to be honest with you, and here's the other thing that's good for you. So what do you do to train yourself to do what you don't want to do?
Yeah. There you go. Right.
I mean, we talked about discipline earlier, and discipline equals freedom.
Mm.
What do you do to train yourself in discipline, to develop habits? And a lot of good habits, they're kind of like, I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So how do you train yourself to do what it is that your brain is telling you to do? No, sleep in.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Well, that's a good way to do it.
Mm.
And that's one of the reasons why I do that as well. I will master this.
Yeah.
This body that I have. You're like, yeah, I ain't buying it.
No, from what I've researched on it, does, mental jumping into the cold water, forcing yourself. It's good.
Well, and again, I'm not saying you got to jump in cold water.
Sure. I mean, there's probably some other things.
What don't you want to do? But again, if you can train yourself, let's just say it makes dealing with stress a lot easier. Because stress is the body's reaction to doing something or going through something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So you can train for that. And that's just one way to do it.
I'm going to end on this question. I think this is a really good one. What has God been teaching you in this present season?
To be honest with you, that's like the easiest question you've asked me today.
Really?
Yeah. So after Pastor Mike's class on Revelation, which was awesome. Revelation is one of those books I just haven't been. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
It's so different from our that reading it and digesting it and getting into it has always been very, very difficult. Ever since his class, I've been reading Revelation and I've been reading books about Revelation and the different schools for interpreting Revelation.
Yeah.
And specifically on the destruction of Jerusalem, historically what happened, from a Roman military perspective, and how Jesus predicted all that in the Olivet Discourse. I'm not saying I understand it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's that's what God's been working on me.
Yeah, it's such a, I feel like it's one of the most talked about books because there's so much in it. There's so much that can be misunderstood.
Yeah.
In that book.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too about Scripture is it's all good. I mean, it's useful for instruction, for correction, and Revelation is too. So the idea that I just can't understand it, hey, why don't you suck it up there, Buttercup,
Yeah.
and read it a little harder?
Mm.
Because it was written for you.
Mm.
And it was written for the people, first century. So the idea that it's too difficult, I'm just not going to read it, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
We don't live by excuses.
Like that. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on the So What's the Point podcast. So glad that you could make it on the set and take some time out of your day. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification bell for me so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next time.